Bravo 6. Going dark.
Hello everybody, it is me Zeus bringing you guys another strat for Rainbow Six Siege. This is going to be for master bedroom and offices on the map Chalet. This will require 5 people, and the first of those 5 that you're going to need is going to be a Thermite. Now, a Thermite, the only important thing you need is flashbangs. Everything else, I mean, just take whatever you feel comfortable with. And yeah. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do with Thermite is you're going to run down this path, kind of get a little bit of a head start, because you're going to be droning quite a bit. Actually, you're going to be droning in a couple of people. Operators I will spoil later, but you'll kind of want to follow a similar path to the drone route I'm taking right now, because that will check a lot of your rat corners and just places that people will sit, and it'll kind of keep you from getting surprised. Now, another thing, it is a big clear, so you don't want to just use your eyes. You'll want to kind of use some audio. If you hear like footsteps on tarps, let somebody know, or if you hear like plates breaking or something like that, let the people who you're droning in kind of know where things are at. That's kind of a basic of droning, but I don't know what skill level the people who are watching this are. Myself, I'm Diamond 5. I'm not the best player in the world, but I'm pretty smart. You know, I make the strats. But anyway, after you've cleared all the way through Trophy, you're going to want to go ahead and take your drone. You're going to want to put it back at West Main, right on that, what is that, like a post? I don't know quite what's called that, but you'll put it right at the bottom, right about in the middle. Now, this door is already being opened, and actually a couple other things are kind of scuffed later on too. You won't have to open this. You will be droning people in, like I said. You're going to make your way into Trophy. And when you get to Trophy, normally there's going to be that jump over on the stairs. If Capitao, who's an operator, I'll spoil him right now, but if he dies or something like that, you'll use your flashbangs to clear anybody out on this vault over. Now, I'm trying to look about in the middle of this wall, because there's going to be 2 reinforcements, one on the left and one on the right. This is going to sound stupid, but you're going to want to put it on the right side of the left reinforcement. This will blow just about the middle of the wall open, but a very particular amount of it. So when that gets opened, the plant is going to be going down right at this right cushion for this couch. Right? Like, that is very important. So as Thermite, once you open the wall, exclusively your job is to just vault out over here. Or, sorry, vault out, rappel out. Kind of go down, and that's it. Stay right here and listen for hits on diffuser, and just hang out. The next operator you're going to want to bring is going to be Osa, and you're going to be bringing EMP grenades. You will also be the diffuser carrier, so it's very important to keep in mind. And while we actually have a second, I feel I should mention it. Everybody is going to be spawning campfire. So Osa, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be basically assisting another operator. Not going to be Thermite. Thermite is also going to be assist. So 3 of you guys are going to be pushing from the basement, 2 from elsewhere. But Osa and another op are going to push the basement down here. And obviously Thermite's going to be droning you. Do be careful, because you are the diffuser. And you're going to want to set your shields here at this doorway for Trench, and at the doorway for Big Garage. You don't have to do them in this order. If you want to set this one first and then set the other one later, you can, but now, I know what you're probably thinking. Why did I even bring Osa if all I'm going to be doing is that? And just keep that tucked away in the back of your mind. Now, what I'm doing to that window is I'm going to break it a little bit. I'm going to break the side. I'm being very careful not to break the glass. If you break the glass, it's not the end of the world. It's just going to be a lot nicer on somebody who's going to be on flank watch. Now, this is why you brought EMPs, was for the wall. Now, you might not even need them, so you'll want to stay on the stairs where you're safe. After you get your plant down, you're going to want to run over here and prone out. Now, I'll talk about it with a later operator that you'll get a window to do this, and yeah, you're just basically an extra set of eyes on diffuser. The very next operator you're going to want to bring is going to be a Nomad. Now, with Nomad, it's again important you bring flashbangs, and actually nothing else of note. You are going to be one of the aforementioned operators that is pushing elsewhere. Now, you're going to be pushing Trophy. Now, when I say you're going to be pushing it, I really do just mean pushing it. You're not going to drone, you're not going to do a whole lot of anything. You're just going to kind of wait here, and you're going to let Thermite do the droning for you. So he'll drone all the way up and around and blah, blah, blah. Now, I say Thermite, but it really could be anybody. If he gets his drones destroyed, you can kind of hop in as an extra couple of sets of drones, because you're going to see that Nomad is actually our flank watch, like our hard, dedicated flank watch. Now you'll just jump in and put air jabs here and here, but you're actually going to be back outside by then. I'm just setting up these punch holes because these were for Nomad. Now, an important thing to keep in mind as Nomad is if anybody dies at any point in time, so like any of the operators that we've covered to this point, or any of the operators we will cover, if they die, you are going to be their replacement. That's kind of in part why you bring flashbangs, but depending on what operators they bring, you can bring a set of breaching charges as well. You'll just kind of have to play it by ear, and that operator will be covering here in a second. But anyway, this drone will also already be set up for you, so you're just going to sit here, wait on this drone, and then if you see somebody pass, for example, like in front of the kitchen door or something like that, peek with the drone first, because then if you see them and they cross, you can just hop off and then you can shoot them. At this point, the window will break, and that's kind of why that'll muffle that sound of you getting off your phone. That's why you didn't want to break it, but it increases your likelihood of getting, shot at. But otherwise, yeah, that's kind of all you do as Nomad. The very next operator you're going to want to grab is going to be Capitao. Now, he's the one that I've been teasing this entire time, and kind of why you're going to want to bring flashbangs on Thermite and Nomad. Now, if by some unfortunate accident he ends up getting spawn peaked, or just ends up dying in some unfortunate manner while trying to shoot one of his Capitao bolts, that's basically where your flashbangs are going to come in handy. That basically is the only reason you want to bring them. And yeah, so obviously you'll let Thermite and all them drone out and all that good stuff. But once everybody's made it into trophy, you're going to both break that window, obviously you and Nomad. You get up in here, and then you're going to take your Capitao bolt, and you're going to look for this beam where it kind of meets that like diagonal beam right about there. That's where I found to be the most effective spot. You shoot it there. It actually makes a really big pool of fire. It'd push anybody out into Blackbeard's line of sight, but it'll usually just push them deeper back into bathroom. Now, if it does that, you can obviously, pre-fire that, but be very wary because that's a pretty good little head glitch. Now, obviously this will be broken open, so I'm going to break open a couple of lines of sight because you will still have a use for your other two Capitao bolts. So your other fire bolt is going to be going on that rotate off to the left, the one between sights right there. So you'll shoot that, and then you should have OSA push in, and then you can smoke off that rotate if it is there. So the plant will start to go down. Now, you'll want to keep an eye on your fire. I'm going to shoot actually a hole here because otherwise it makes us look kind of stupid. And after there's this hole here, you shoot your second smoke dart there. That is where you will cross as OSA. That's where you cross next to the bed. And you'll want to put it deep into the rotate hole so they can't see, but Blackbeard will still be able to see. It'll kind of force them out into piano and across. But then as Capitao, you'll want to stay in bathroom and catch anybody who is able to slip past Blackbeard. Now, the claymores are pretty important because you can set one here, or if Blackbeard gets spawn peaked, you can use them there. But if you still have the need to use them, you can set them right about here. But on to the last operator. And the last operator you are going to want to bring is going to be Blackbeard. Now, with Blackbeard, you're going to want to bring claymores, and that's pretty important. But otherwise, whatever you feel comfortable with on his kit. Now, kind of a weird pick. Blackbeard with claymores. Why are we doing that? Well, you are going to be pushing the basement with Thermite and OSA. Now, when you get to the basement, you're going to be kind of like right behind OSA. You're going to be kind of peeking over their head. And yeah, you're going to put your claymores behind those OSA shields, and then you're going to melee them. Just to break them, don't pop them, like don't pop the canister, but break them. That way people won't see the claymore behind the shield. And that's actually the whole point. Because they'll hear an air jab, if you set up a shield, they'll think you might have just screwed it up or something like that. It's one of those strats that people usually use in the really low ranking lobbies. But it actually works because no actual self-respecting diamond player is expecting such an event. Which is why it's so galaxy brain play right there. So anyway, after they get control of the basement and trophy and all that, you're going to wait outside Solarium. When they're ready to push, when Capitao burns the guy off the top, you can open both of these windows. Now, obviously, I didn't put on my face shield, but you'll want to have your face shield on just while you're waiting. Just be on rappel. Now, your primary job is kind of just put pressure on that guy, kind of force if there is somebody playing there, back into bathroom. And after that, you're going to kind of hold master bedroom door. You can't see too deep in there, but as far as like bathroom goes, but you can at least push them back. And then you can keep them off this door, obviously, until the breach is getting ready. So once you've given your team control of Solarium, you're You're gonna rappel back down really quick, and you're gonna start making tracks, because you got to get all the way to big window in a timely manner, because they're gonna start the planting process here pretty soon. This is the execute phase. So now you'll wait here until they breach the wall, like they'll call out they're going to breach it at 110, for example. You don't need to open the whole window, you can just open a little punch hole. And then, yeah, you're just going to play pretty passive on the windows. After the plant goes down, you can open it up all the way if it makes you feel better, like if you can see better. But for the most part, it shouldn't really hurt just having a little crack hole opened. And that's all that you do for the attack. That's the whole strat for attacking side. Now, you already know it wouldn't be a strat video of mine if I didn't include the counter. So, the first and arguably worst counter is going to be Wamai. Now, I say he's the worst counter because he really only counters Capitao. That just kind of allows you to keep control of the back set of stairs a lot better, but it's not bulletproof, obviously. It's not going to make you not get shot to death, right? So, basically, if you throw one up above the breach here, or you can throw it onto the first set of beams, it'll drop the fire onto that couch. The only problem with this is that, well, Blackbeard will be able to see it. It does need to be on those first two beams, but otherwise it won't do anything, and yeah, the fire he tries to shoot to the rotate will end up dropped on their head and give you some time to react. Now, if you're trying to just stay above and hold the stairs, if prevention is your main thing, you'll want to use this magnet spot here, because what it does is it'll actually pull it over, and it leaves a whole slot along the left side and along the back wall there, closest to that bulletproof wall that you can use. Obviously, Blackbeard will have that unlocked, so you're not going to get too much use out of that, but it leaves an area for you to walk along. And as you can see, actually, you'll be able to see Capitao before he's able to see that cross-section, I guess you could call it. But it would be close. If he gets that shot off, you are still definitely going to get pushed off. Now, if you want to have the entire area playable and all that stuff, you can use that magnet, or another one that I've found to be pretty effective at even backing them up is this magnet right here. It leaves you a whole big wide area, and it actually fires them off more than it fires you off. But yeah, that's about it for Wamai. We'll move on to the next one. Now, the next operator that you can use to counter it is going to actually be Castle. Now, he's not so much as a direct counter to the strat, as he is a full counter strat all its own. So what you can do with Castle is you can set his barricades up on big window here, and this will kind of throw off Blackbeard's timing and also his element of surprise, where he'll now have to punch that barricade 9 times. You can get nitro. There's a lot of things that can happen there. But anyway, the breach will be going here. Now, if it's going down right there and Blackbeard is cut off, you can open that hatch, which I don't know why you would do, but if you hear him punching, you can actually drop below. But obviously Nomad's watching the flanks, so it's not going to do you much. But if you castle off both of this window and this doorway here, you can make some ankle holes, or chest holes even works, but you can make those along this doorway here, and you can actually play that plant spot. Now, you can hop up on this counter over here with the sinks, but the vault up spot that I found to actually work the best is up on the tub. I'll show you here in a second, because if you prone out and try to peek through this, which I don't know when they would ever get an opportunity to do this without just getting laid out by somebody else, but is up on the bathtub, so you can't see them because of the door. I usually have a rotate there in closet, so that's why I ran there, just kind of instinctually. But there is a vault spot. It's like a special vault where you'll actually just get put up right up onto this lip, and you will be able to shoot and counter the plant. And they'll never actually be able to see your feet, not from in sight, because they'd have to prone through the hole and expose themselves to nitros. But anyway, on to the last counter, and arguably the best. Now, my personal favorite, and as I've mentioned, the best counter is going to be Echo. Now, he's very seldom banned anymore, but he's still pretty strong. I feel like people are sleeping on Echo, but what you can do is you can set your yokais up next to the doorway here, and there's actually a really sneaky spot. I thought I found a lineup, but it actually doesn't work. But you basically want to just slot it right about in between the closet door and that beam right there up above, where my drone is just about right now. I tried jumping here a few times. It takes a little bit to set it up, and it's actually a pretty finicky spot. Like, it is very precise. But what you want to look for is like that crown, like the wood along the very base of the wall, because that is going to maximize the amount that you can see, but minimize the amount of the drone they can see. So I got it like perfect right here where it's just even at like a certain angle where you can see it. So that's pretty nice. Or the safer spot is actually just right over here. Blackbeard can kind of see it from window, but it's very hard to see. Now, if for some reason you don't feel comfortable with that, well, you could set it up here. I noticed there's a cool little snipey spot. Or you can scoot it a little bit further back. But the further back you scoot it, the more risk that you run of the people in Solarium being able to see it. So you kind of got to choose, is Blackbeard going to barely be able to see it, or are the people outside going to be able to see it better? I personally take my gamble for Blackbeard, because it's, I mean, as hidden as that is, like, I do like how hidden that is. It's just, there's 4 sets of eyes over in, or sorry, 3 sets of eyes in Solarium, and 1 set of eyes looking from the window. So it's just, betters your chances. Because if you look, actually, I can show, like, it's not too perfect, like of an apples to apples, but it's still kind of hard to see. But anyway, that's going to completely do it for the strat. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you guys get some dubskis with this. And you guys take it easy. Peace out.